Of course, humility is a very important aspect, a very important virtue for the Stoics. There was one particular Stoic by the name of Cato the Younger, and he was a Roman senator, and he trained to be a Stoic. I mean, he was a Stoic, but he put himself through training to become a Stoic, much like people today put themselves through training to, lift more weight or have better cardio. It's not something that you get one day and then you have it forever. It's, humility and stoicism and all these philosophies that we live by. These are things that take time to develop, and really you don't stop developing them. It's something that you do constantly and consistently for the rest of your life. And so anyways, Cato the Younger, he did Stoic training. And some of the things he did to basically humble himself is actually pretty interesting. He wasn't a poor man by no means. He had fine clothing, which, for as long as people have been wearing clothing, having fine clothing is a sign of respect and it's a sign of wealth, and is generally seen as a good thing. Even today, people spend a lot of time on what they wear. The fashion statement, it's not a new thing. It's been around for a long time. However, one of the things that he would do to humble himself is actually wear unusual clothing, or poor man's clothing, or funny things. And the whole goal of that was that he wanted to get people to laugh at him. That sounds pretty awful if you think about it. Think about the worst thing you have in your closet, or the worst thing that you've ever thrown out from your closet because you're just embarrassed to wear it. Then wear that down the street. Something that's so bad, that's so awful, that people will actually laugh at you because you're wearing it. And if anyone's had that experience, that's gotta be rough, man. But this was one of the things he did, was actually wear unusual, weird clothing. And the whole point of that is humbling himself. It's trying to find humility. It's trying to make himself realize that I don't need fancy clothes all the time. Yeah, sure, if I got fancy clothes, that's nice, but humility is more important. And so if I can wear shitty clothes or unusual clothes every now and then, and people can laugh at me for it, it's probably a good thing for my ego. Some of the other things he did, that's the biggest one that sticks out in my mind, because wearing bad clothes and getting publicly humiliated because of it, that really stuck out in my mind. But he did other things as well. For example, he learned to get along with poor man's rations, meaning food, water. Today, as was back in the Roman days, if you didn't have food, you couldn't eat the food. And so basically, if you were a poor man, if you didn't have money, you didn't have a lot of food to go with. You would have poor man's rations. You would eat maybe not necessarily lower quality food. They ate a lot of barley and stuff, which is pretty healthy for you. But certainly the ration size, the calorie count, and all that stuff, it wasn't in excess. And so that's what he would do. He would actually limit the quality and amount of food that he would eat as a way of humbling himself, of reminding himself that he's no better than a poor man. He also went barefoot. He went bareheaded in the scorching heat and in the rain, and he would just walk around in terrible weather with limited clothing, barefoot, that's not fun unless you're a hobbit, so he would do that. He also learned to endure sickness. This is an interesting one. He would endure sickness in perfect silence, meaning if he was sick, he wouldn't complain about it. He wouldn't be begging for medicine. He would just deal with it silently, which is interesting. A lot of people could probably take a lesson from that.